Oops, sorry guys, have my mic on mute. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning, and hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Doing good. All right, guys. Let's get into a little bit of what we had yesterday. We had a pretty nice list. I mean, things were very active. We have WKHS, which was nice,
Hey, buddy.
NKLA.
You've got no sound coming through the room at least.
Oh yeah, hold on a second.
Can you guys hear me?
Now they can. The mic dropped off.
Okay,
I got it back on the
gotcha.
chat room. We got to figure that out. That drops once in a while in the morning. It'll happen like twice, so I'll keep on the lookout for it. All right, perfect. So, guys, let's look at what we had yesterday. We had a pretty decent list starting with WKHS, very active this morning as well. Another possible continuation on, as you can see here, starting to get very active already. NKLA also was just a disaster yesterday. Just kept dropping the third day in a row here that we're seeing a huge drop on NKLA. If you look at the action yesterday, let's take a quick look. Nice big drop here at the morning. They tried to recover, was not able to get towards the highs of the day here. Did drop one more time, losing the low of the pre-market this time and drop it even further. D yesterday did not trade as well as the day before. Right at the open, it did get a little choppy. It finally did put in a nice little pop here. So if you were watching patiently, you could have taken advantage of that. We had SQ on our list, which continues to trade just amazing today. Another possible continuation on it. Again, nice little breakout here on SQ. Plug, I didn't watch closely, so I'm not sure what the price action was. I had it on here, but I took it off for something else. And you can see here, just very choppy at the open. This is the reason why this stock, we tend to just keep it away from our list here on Plug. NIO also traded very decent yesterday. Nice big pop. And Uber as well, very active. So let's get into what we have gapping up and down this morning. We have a lot on our gapping up list, quite a bit in this list today. So we'll get into these and see what we have on these double digits, especially making a nice big run on here. A couple of low flow stocks, not many. We got two about here right now, but we do have some sitting in the lower side of things here, 34 and 21. And the downside, we do have United Airlines, which is the only airline here right now. Obviously, we have WKHS, which we'll look at, INO, which has been another one that also has been pretty active over the last couple of days. So we'll take a look at what's happening there. All right, let's get over to our market post. Norman, kind of give us an update on what's happening there. What can we expect for today and the rest of the week?
I'm going to call it flat. I mean, we're up 0.1% right now, but on the SPY, but compared to the big moves that we've had and the gaps that we've had, I would call it flat. Not too surprising. Monday, we were up fairly considerably. Yesterday gave most of that back. So kind of flat for the week. I think the market, this 315 level we've talked about a bit. I know Jared's talked about in his morning recaps that he's doing. It's a pretty significant level to see where we go from here. I think the market's trying to figure out, there's some talk, some more stimulus. Then we've got this, spike in coronavirus cases. People are waiting to see what happens there. To remember, it's summer too. So summer trading typically is pretty except for, you can get some moves when we get into earnings, which we'll get into earnest, I guess, next week. But, essentially flat, really not much economic data coming out today. There's consumer credit at 3 p.m., but that's all I got. As far as sectors go, technology is up 0.5%, energy is up 1/3% roughly. You know, Everything else is essentially flat, tiny bit negative. Financials ever so lightly negative. Utilities so slightly negative. So I think the market's just trying to find direction. Are we going to continue this move? We've had this we had the strong move up, a little bit of a pullback, then we've come back, and it's trying to see where it's going to go. Who knows? I would not be surprised if we see some chop unless some significant news comes out. So that's where we sit right now, bud.
Thanks, man. And you're absolutely right. And it goes to say about this summer trading, there is a difference, and we've seen it quite a bit, especially if you've been trading, 3 or more years or even more than that. There is a difference in volume as well as continuation. So you're going to notice strategies like the opening range breakup on the 5-minute can take a hit quite a bit during these months coming up because they just don't get that good continuation. Obviously, with all the movements we've been having with the SPY, we've been seeing some really good continuation. And the 5-minute opening range breakup, and I'm speaking just this specific strategy. Every strategy has its own, situation when things slow down a little bit. They're running pretty nice right now, right? You have stocks that are just exploding as the market is moving up higher or down 1 or 2%. It's causing a lot of volume and volatility. So let's get into our gappers list this morning, guys. Let's start.
One thing
Yeah,
I'll note
please.
here is if you look at that daily and you focus on the volume has tapered off quite a bit on the daily. That's one of the things leading to what we're talking about here. The other thing too is if you look at the size of the candle, it's a pretty big candle yesterday.
Yeah.
And a pretty significant drop. I know I was listening to some of the closing bell show they were talking about. The market was just at the end of the day, it was just, going straight down essentially. That having been said, not on a lot of volume. So kind of interesting. You got to see how those coincide. Well, maybe it's not that convinced of a move. We'll see.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, so let's get into what we have gapping down this morning. Let's take a look at the first one on our list now is WKHS. Again, this one has been incredible the last couple of days, very, very active. And you can see here how active it has been compared to what it normally does. Nothing really happening for the most part. Last couple of weeks, we've seen some pretty significant volume on this one. So right now, very active, 318. We are down 5%. Definitely worth adding on here. I know there's been some good opportunities on this one. Let me make some room here for our watch list.
Just one thing I'll say while you're doing that, all these anything around electric vehicle, alternative energy kind of plays have really been busy ever since the travel and leisure sector that we were trading so much over the last few months kind of died off a little bit. Now these have popped up. It's a combination of things that I'm seeing. I know California's in the midst of passing some laws that would help bolster some of these EV businesses. This morning, if you look at our watch list, you've got WKHS. NEO was yesterday. I don't see it on here this morning. Nikola, AYRO. There was a report on Nissan this morning coming out with an electric vehicle. But I'll tell you, that's the worst stock on the planet to possibly trade, are the Japanese auto manufacturers, Nissan probably being the worst. And there's a little bit of euphoria here. Tesla's obviously been on a huge run. I think people are trying to catch the next Tesla. And you've got this, the legislative stuff going on. So it should be interesting to watch. That just crazy. You've got Nikola. That's what the market cap on them is. I can't even remember what, but it's a lot of money for a drawing of a car.
Yeah. And what's the ticker on that one?
NKLA.
Yep. Yeah, it's been definitely something.
$17 billion valuation for the drawing of a car. They don't even have a prototype.
That's a beautiful thing. All right, guys, let's get it here. So again, WKHS, we'll have it on here. And next, after this, the airlines are starting to come in. I see United was here earlier on, is down 3%. I like what I'm seeing on it now. They were pretty much dead yesterday. Well, I did not have any on my list, but let's take a look at what kind of action we did again. So yesterday, pretty much flat pre-market. We did get a nice drop here, kind of test the VF. So good old opening stuff happening here. Then it got a little choppy towards the end, but again, pretty quiet in pre-market action yesterday for all the airlines for the most part. Here's United right now. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. So we got some okay volume. We're down 3%. But what I like is that we're getting back towards these levels here. We lost the previous day close, which was a major level for this stock. We were there yesterday. That's where it closed down. And we're slightly below that now at 3%. So I'm inclined to keep this one on here. Maybe it could be a day for these travel stocks, depending on what news is out there right now or what the SPY action is going to be. Here's American Airlines as well, guys, dropping down a bit here, losing again this level that we've been consolidating above slightly around 1250. Looks like we're down here quite a bit. It's tons of volume, 1.2. But even though you have this 1.2 million shares traded right now, the pre-market action is not looking all that great. So I expect American Airlines to get a little bit better. I'll add it on here, but it's usually not the best trading airline for me, at least. Here's Save. Also, it's got a little bit less volume, but a better pre-market activity than actually American Airlines. So sometimes volume is important, guys, but also the way that your pre-market action is being built is as important as well. So a lot less volume, but a more clean pre-market activity here. I'm not going to add on this one. I'll look out for United and American Airlines, but United right now seems to be the one that has the best daily and also the best pre-market action for the most part. So that's what's gapping down, guys. Let's take a look at what's gapping up this morning. And Norm, jump in anytime if you have any specific news on any of these. We have NGHZ, which doesn't look great. This looks like a buyout.
I will say, since you already talked about UAL, they mentioned that they're seeing weak bookings. People are scared to fly.
Okay. So might be seeing a drop on that today. Again, I do like what we're seeing with the airlines this morning. So NGHC, this one doesn't look all that good right now, guys. Is this a buyout? It seems that way. It is. Okay.
Yeah, they're being bought by Allstate.
Okay, and for those that are new, again, the reason why it looks like a buy because you have the nice gap up with a lot of volume, 2 million shares traded, and you're not doing any type of pre-market action. It's kind of pretty much flat at a number here, so that usually indicates a buyout. Here's a NNVC right now, very active, guys. Great pre-market action. We are sitting at 5.2 million shares though, so this is a low flow stock. At the moment, pretty active, 4.7 million shares. We are up 48% on this one. So again, a lot of volume, a lot of activity, definitely in play this morning. Former runner, we've seen this thing popped up a couple of times here on the history. Looks like when we get volume, it does run up nicely. We have been up to $12 in the past. Looks like 12.20 has been a recent high that we have hit. So it's got potential. So for anybody that likes to watch these low flow stocks, this is a good one today. Looks very active and a beautiful pre-market action.
Mention on that, they're popping on news that they test that they've done on their COVID vaccine is being well tolerated in animal studies. So
okay.
I guess it's not I think it's actually I can't remember if this is a vaccine or a therapeutic, but it's one of the two.
Okay, gotcha. So we'll keep this one on here, guys. Again, very active on some news too, because sometimes you get these pops and there's no news behind it, and it's kind of interesting how something can get pumped up like that and without no news behind it. NKLA, after a couple of really bad days, up a little bit here, 10.6 this morning. It's almost 700,000 shares being traded, so there's some opportunity for some continuation. Again, this thing has been towards the downside at least is very extended. Are we going to get a nice little pop here, squeeze up towards these levels that we have, or are we going to continue on this downtrend that we are definitely in? So NKLA, definitely worth watching. We'll throw it on our list here. BLNK,
they got an upgrade out of JP Morgan, I think. Yeah, they got an upgrade this morning.
What was their target? Do you know?
I have not seen that.
Okay. So
sometimes they don't throw a target on it too.
Yeah,
so it may not be out there.
Gotcha. Because I love when they do they got upgraded to
45. JP Morgan, neutral to overweight with a $45 price target.
Gotcha. I love when they do the upgrades and they say, hey, upgrade to let's say like 35 and you're already at 40 something.
Yeah.
So BLNK here, guys.
My favorite is I can't remember which bank just upgraded. This is why, and you bring up a good point on this, because you get an analyst upgrade, sometimes they mean absolutely nothing.
Right.
I can't remember what bank it was. It was a big investment bank. Just upgraded Amazon, their price target from 250, or excuse me, Tesla from 250 to 275.
Wait, 100, not like 2,500, like 250.
$250 to $275.
That is
and Tesla's
great.
At what, $1,300-$1,400? It makes no sense.
Yeah,
it was JP Morgan. Yeah.
Their internet connection might be slow or something, a little bit behind there on what's happening. BLNK, guys, this one again, it's been active, guys, up and down, hitting our scanners. I have not kept it on watch. I think it's a stock that's very difficult to trade. I don't like the way the price action is. A few times I have looked at it, so I'm gonna skip on it. But if you do like this stock, it is up 8.5 this morning, 144. But I'm gonna move on to something something else here. AYRO this morning, very active, 731,000. Possible continuation. I do not like the daily chart on this one, guys. Again, mostly trading under $3. It is popping up now with everything going on here on this EV. This is an EV, correct, Norm? You mentioned.
Yep.
So again, it's just not a good, clean trading stock on the daily. I don't like it neither. So
I
I'm
think
going
they
to
make
pass.
200. They did have news. They are trying to expand their manufacturing facilities to be able to make 600 cars a month. They currently make, I think, 200 cars a month.
Okay, well that's a big impact if they're able to
It's
do
a big
that.
impact.
Yeah,
It's still
yeah.
not many cars either way.
No, it's not definitely many cars at all. A big change in their numbers, but again, guys, these stocks just don't trade well for me. And if you look down, for the most part, you had one big day here with some really insane volume. I mean, 229 million shares traded, and for the most part, they don't do all that well when it comes to volume. So, gonna skip on this one this morning. Let's go down over to SMPL, also looking horrible on the pre-market action right now. 140,000 shares traded. We do have we're up 7.8 on this one. Also daily looks all over the place, very light on the volume, guys. So again, when the things are just not clicking, this is a really bad daily chart. Yes, the last couple of days, nice little breakout here. Not sure where's the news causing it to get on this nice little Earnings, okay, so it's causing it to pop up here, but again, just really nothing looking great on the Simply Good. What is this? A Simply Good Foods company. So just simply not good at all. Let's look at FUTU.
Nice job,
one,
buddy.
yeah, this one here, we saw it a couple of days ago. It was popping up. It gapped up on our list. Again, doesn't trade a lot of volume, and I'm always concerned with these companies that only do like a 2 million shares for the entire day. If you ever been stuck in one of these companies, in one of these trades, it just doesn't move. It's painful. And again, if somebody comes in with a large order, they can really move things one way or the other. So I shy away from these type of companies that do that. This one is up nicely again today. The last couple of weeks has really teared it up. But again, just not one that I'm going to keep an eye on here this morning. AYRO, we looked at, guys. Here is Plug again, active, another 5.8, 350. But again, just this company, if you've seen the price action, it is not pretty. So you're going to get a lot of volume. It's doing about 40 millions per share on average the last couple of 2 weeks at least, right? And trading very nice on the daily. But the intraday trading on it could be very brutal, especially at the open. Now, I got to say, though, later in the day, it has been getting better. But if you look at this move here, you're going from about 870, and this is about what, a 30 cents, 40 cents move. Look how long that takes to happen, right? So again, it's a different, unique stock to trade. I mean, it shouldn't matter how many cents it does move, but when it's as low as this one and as painful twice the price action, it's not really all that great. But we'll keep it on here. I know there's some people that are watching this one will do levels for it. NIO has been amazing, guys. Look at the play yesterday. It's just really clean. They give you a little hard time here starting out up and down here. You were able to catch probably a few scalp plays here. Then it finally double bottoms here off the VWAP. Just a beautiful long and a beautiful continuation after that. Really never testing your 9. It never broke the 9 moving average, right? All the way up here towards the end of the day. So big possible continuation on NIO if it continues to be this strong. Either way, we do have shares for short, so we could play this both ways if we're getting a little bit extended here and want to come back down and take a little bit of a break. AA right now looking pretty crappy. Also daily looks horrible, guys. Look at this daily action. Every candle overlaps the previous candle. Yeah, the volume is extremely light, about 4 million shares for the most part. So even though they're up 5.8 this morning, 206, I'm not expecting a whole lot out of this one today.
They released preliminary earnings data. Their earnings aren't until mid-month, I think the 15th exactly. But they released some preliminary info that's helped pop them up a little bit this morning.
Gotcha. All right, guys, I'm going to stop here, but I'm going to look at a few that I know people might throw out there. OSTK is one that has been coming up quite a bit. I did not watch this yesterday, but wow, they had a big day yesterday here, guys. They traded 11 million shares about. So quiet pre-market activity. Look at this action. Again, looks clean now. Not sure how the actual price action was, if anybody watched this, but could be in for a possible continuation. So I'm going to throw it on here because I know some of you guys would probably continue to look at this one, especially if you have some success on it yesterday. SQ is a big one too, so let's skip over to this one. Another big day for SQ. It just continues to just rip. guys. This stock is so strong. We're banging our heads against the highs of the last two trading days now, and we're up to another 2.6 this morning. So I like what I'm seeing there. We'll add a skew to the list. You know what? Two more. Might as well just go through them. Here's IQ, not doing much. Probably a couple of block trades. On to the next one, SRNE. Great daily, guys. Trading very nice here. How did it do yesterday? Yesterday, very choppy start. They settle in after an hour or so. They start to get into a nice groove. But I have not watched this stock. I don't know what the price action is like at the open. Norm, have you ever looked at this one at all?
Yeah, it's been a while, man.
Yeah,
This was busy back, I think, when the COVID stuff
yeah.
first took place, or toward the end of that, and
Mm-hmm.
they had some, but it trades like a low float. If you look at their daily, man,
Yeah, yeah.
it goes from $2.50 up to 10 plus, or 10-ish, and then just drops right back down. Even though I have the float at 147 million on Finviz, it yeah, just not interesting to me.
Yeah, yeah. Same here, guys. Again, not sure if any of you guys have traded. If you have, let us know how that has worked out and how the price action is. But I'm gonna stay away from this one, guys. And let's go over to what you guys have this morning. Norm, aside from what we're looking at now, anything that you like today?
Not really. Facebook, a little bit, kind of keeping an eye on that. It's been big in the news with the content issues that they're having and meetings that they've had with activists. But who knows if it'll do anything? It had some nice moves yesterday
Yeah,
in
yeah.
both
Yesterday was
directions.
great.
People in the room traded it, so I might keep an eye on that to see if anything happens. I'm not in love with anything on this list, man.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. All right, guys, let's go over to what the room is watching. Let's start with Tyler here. VXRT, that ticker I don't like as much. Let's see what it's up to this morning.
It's
Drop.
just started moving here pretty hard in the last few minutes.
Yeah, look, a nice big drop here. We do have shares for sure, but you got to be careful in the shorting this stock, guys. It does. I'm not sure if it's a low flow stock, but it does move like one.
No.
VXRT. Just checking on Benzinga excuse me, Trade Ideas what this has. So this is 46 million shares float, but you got to be careful with this one because it can move quite a bit. This drop here showing about almost 70 cents drop from the last couple of minutes here. So be careful on this one. Yeah, very active right now. 1.7 million shares traded. So we definitely got something going on it here, moving more towards the downside. Let's see what it did yesterday. Yesterday, not a whole lot towards the end, around power hour here, 30 minutes towards the end. Looks like had a nice little run up, so I'm not sure what kind of news broke out. Look at the volume coming in towards the end here, and you had nice little pop. So right now down about 6% or so. Probably was down about 7 when it did this low here. Interesting to see what happens here. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this one because I think the way it trades is very wild. But VXRT. Let's put it on here. We'll come back to that one. All right, let's take a look what we're having here. Walmart possible continuation. Let's check WMT. Big day yesterday for Walmart, guys. It's a huge breakout here. Did nothing for the first 2 hours or so of the market open, and then just volume comes in, and you can see the nice little pop here. Do we know what news broke out? Definitely some news
Yeah,
on this, right?
they had a middle of the day announcement that they're essentially launching a service to try to compete with Amazon.
Got it. Okay. All right. So this is the retail giant here for sure. So that's going to definitely prompt them up a little bit here, guys. Look at this beautiful pop up to 127. Possible continuation today on Walmart. So I do like what I'm seeing here. Let's add this to the list. And Walmart, guys, is a little bit difficult to trade. So be careful. It doesn't trade a lot of volume unless it has some type of news like this one here. If you look at their daily, it's pretty crappy. It's very bad, actually. So it doesn't trade very well. But again, you have some news like this one, nice big catalyst, and you're going to get some good movements in volume, right? Volume is everything to get these stocks to move nicely. We looked at our SRNE. Let's look at Docu next. Docu this morning, they are up 4.1. Not a lot of volume, and pre-market is really all over the place. I do see what you like here, though. We are getting above this area of resistance that we have not been able to break out for the last 3 days, 3 trading days. So we're slightly above that now, possible continuation on it. But the volume right now in the pre-market is pretty light. A good one, good one to possibly look for in our scanners. Here's the sleeper Roku. Roku is the type of stock, again, doesn't put in a good pre-market action. Look at it yesterday. Also not a great pre-market action. You did have a wild open for Roku though. Look at this drop and pop
Yeah.
here. I mean, this is just really all over the place. That
I
was
had it
pure
on my
chop.
secondary, and then
You
after those
did?
first few, yeah, I had it on my secondary, and I had my eye on it because of the way it's been moving after the market opens, even though we can't see anything
Hmm.
pre-market. And when I saw those engulfing candles, and
Yeah.
I know they're not perfect engulfing, but nevertheless, that is the choppiest opening 20 or 30 minutes I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. We're not talking about small candles neither. We're talking about some
Yeah,
pretty
it's
decent
huge.
sized candles. We're going from 131 all the way up to 134. I mean, that's massive. In the next 5 minutes, we drop again and come back up. I mean, that's just pretty insane there.
Untradeable.
Yep, yep. So it does settle down towards the end later, but man, that type of open, yeah, I would have stayed away from that myself. So I'm not doing much right now, guys, on Roku. So this probably could be something we look at later into that 10:30 or 11 o'clock when Norm starts coming on the mic. We can kind of tune into that one, see what's happening, see if we catch any opportunities there. So I'm gonna skip on that one for now. Let's go over to Ashley. She has run for us, RUN. Right now, very light on volume, Ashley here. So I'm probably not going to watch this one. Only 47. Had a big day yesterday. Could have a possible continuation, but again, for the most part, I'm gonna skip on this one today. All right, David from Connecticut. What do we have? KSS. I think this was on our list as well. This is
Yeah.
Coles. The issue with this stock is how choppy it can be. Now, we've been stuck within this trading range for the last couple of days, guys, right? Right around 21 seems to be the high of that range, 21.10 maybe. The low of that range sitting around 20 to be exact right on. You can see the wicks bouncing off of that or closing around that area. If we can break out of here, we got some potential, man. We got some room to run. But right now, this is a difficult stock for me to add on to the list. I'll throw it as a possible, but I'll probably will be looking for this one to hit the scanners. I want to see this break out of here, or else you could be in for a very choppy trading day, unless there's any news behind it. All right,
They got
QQQ.
an upgrade.
They did? Okay. All right. So
Yeah, I
see,
think out of B of A Securities and price target off the top of my head, and I could be wrong. I think it was 20 to 27, but
gotcha. So QQQ, guys, is an ETF. We don't usually watch or trade this one. Again, it is active. So Josh, if you're looking to have this on your list, it is an ETF like the SPY is. You can trade it. It is tradable, but for the most part, we don't usually put it on our watch. Let's look at Baba. We'll do a few more and then we'll get over to our YouTube friends. Bob right now is looking good, very active actually, 471. It's not hitting our scanners because it's not above 2% here. But I gotta say, this pre-market is looking pretty decent. Oh, hold on, that's not pre-market. Oh, that's the wrong pre-market. That's the QQQ pre-market. That's looking good. Let's look at Baba. Oh, no. Baba's not looking all that great. What's going on with Baba? We got 1 million shares traded. I know this wick here is kind of throwing things off a little bit. So let's look at the 1 minute. But yeah, it's kind of going sideways a bit here, guys. So I'm not seeing anything all that great. The daily though looks amazing. Possible breakout and continuation here. So again, I'm not sure what's causing all this volume on Baba with not the nicest pre-market activity. So all right, let's head down to Tesla. We know Tesla's doing great, guys. We're not going to watch it. It's too expensive for me now, and for, as Nor mentioned, for him as well. Again, he's sitting at
I love high
1,400.
price stocks, but it's kind of gotten into that territory
Yeah.
where, and
Yep.
I preach that it's really there's no difference between trading 100 shares of a $10 stock or 10 shares of a $100 stock.
Yep.
But at some point, it gets to a place where it's like, what am I going to take like 4 shares of this to
Right.
make my stop worthwhile? It just
Yeah.
doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to me.
And also, I think once you get to that level, kind of like the same thing with stocks under $5, right? They trade a little bit different. The price action is different. I think above 1,000, above a certain number, the price action also becomes a little bit different. So, not saying that it's bad, right? Not saying that it's bad, but it's just,
Yeah.
it's a little bit different to trade, different animal. All right, guys, I think we have a decent list. Let's take a quick look on what we have here on our YouTube chat. We have LUV. This is love. We looked at this one earlier, guys. Not trading all that well. Let's see if anything's changed. Let's look at the 5 minute.
No.
Yeah, it's still looking crappy, guys. Very light on the volume, only down 1%. I do have American Airlines here. They have 1.5 million shares traded, and also this pre-market not looking all that great. But they have some news behind of just cancellations and not really getting going, and possible loss of flights here. United, it's okay. It's starting to look better, but again, we're not doing all that much right now. I do love the daily, so I might just keep United as my airline today. If we can lose this here, we could have possibility to run. We're sitting right on this moving average as well. FSLY, this one was very active a couple of days ago. What is it doing
It
now?
just doesn't really have any volume.
Yeah, very light on volume. If you're looking at the daily for a possible breakout, I am with you. This looks
I
good if
love the
it can get
daily.
going. Yeah, it looks amazing if it can get going here. But again, very light on volume. You need a lot more people watching this to get a pop above that. So a good possibility to have this one on the watch and the scanners. NVAX, another one that has been on our list quite a bit
Wild ride
today.
yesterday.
Yeah, today. What did it do yesterday? Oh yeah, nice drop and pop here. It's just really all over the place.
I had it both directions. That's the one that made my day yesterday,
Oh,
both ways.
nice. Yeah, so some pretty crazy action here yesterday after a nice big pop. Today there could be a possible continuation, guys. We got some volume, 145, not all that great, pretty much flat right now. If it's not strong enough to come back to this 110 and high of yesterday, we have a possible continuation here if it keeps dropping. I like the way the pre-market is forming right now. We just went from green to red, and what that means is, basically this is the previous day close line. Here you're green and here you're red. You're going to hear Andrew say it's going to do the red to green move. It'll just be the opposite. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to put this at least as a possible, guys. I think I like what I'm seeing there on NVAX this morning for a possible continuation.
So watch out. The spread on that thing can be really big. A lot of times it's best to go in with a limit order possibly on it, see if you can
Yeah,
catch
catch
one
the
side of the
drop.
spread, but it can also move like crazy. So it worked out for me, but it was a little bit of a white knuckle trade.
Yeah, we definitely been in my share of those. So yeah, guys. So we'll keep that one on deck there. Let's look at what else we had. We had LVGO. Let's look at LVGO. And LVGO, guys, not doing much right now. You have 105. You had a couple of pretty good days, but right now the pre-market is a little bit all over the place. Let's see what it did yesterday. Pretty okay open without knowing how the price action actually was. It seems a little bit wild here with this type of wicks. So again, not sure how clean that was. It does get a little bit better later on in the day, and then it just goes sideways from there. Also, keep in mind these candles are about $1 each, so be careful with the number of shares you take on here. This thing can really move. And your spread right now almost 50 cents here. So careful
Yeah.
on this stock. All right, guys, let's go over to announcements. We'll
One
come
more I'll
back.
throw out to you before you
Yeah,
go over there.
please.
Square SQ. I also had some good
SQ.
trades on that yesterday. It was a good mover. Pre-market's not the most beautiful action I've ever seen, but that's not too atypical for Square.
Yeah, I love the daily right now in Square. Although you're right, the pre-market action is not looking great. But the daily though, possible continuation here with how strong this thing has been. We get going here, we can have a good opportunity to get to that 130, 132 area. So yeah, I definitely have this one on watch as well. All right, folks, let's go over to our announcements and we'll come right back.
All right, we finally got these announcements cleared up. We had a gap in our schedule because Dr. Reed had to postpone, so I apologize the last few days. Tonight, it is Wednesday. Tonight, Peter is doing his talking about his success webinar and setting up a trading plan. So, especially for beginners, or if you're more experienced and you want to go get a refresher, maybe redo some things on how you've structured your trading and your trading business. Go to his webinar. It's in the webinar room, 8 p.m. Eastern this evening, talking about setting up a trading plan by my man, Peter. Next week, Jared is going to be talking about how to identify and maximize trend days. We all see those charts where it's just a beautiful, just slide down or a grind up that really never tests anything, or some that test a little bit more. Not every trend is absolutely beautiful. D keeps coming to mind how I missed that the other day. And I saw a few people, I think you too, Carlos, took D on Monday with
Yep,
that just smooth drop that never even tested anything.
amazing.
But
Yep.
how to identify those early instead of just looking at the chart at the end of the day and saying, hey, why didn't I get that? So check him out. That's next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Dr. Katz did his FOMO webinar last night. If it's not posted yet, it should be soon. A lot of traders struggle with FOMO, so go check that out. It should be worth your while. And then Mike next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern will be talking about defining yourself as a trader in his psychology series, modules 1 through 6. This is starting back over at the beginning, module 1, so check him out next week. If you're watching us on YouTube and haven't been in the chat, you can do so at a discount. Pay $24 for 7 calendar days instead of 39. Use the promo code PREMARKET24. That will give you 7 calendar days, 5 trading days, access. Also gives you access to Carlos's live Monday night onboarding class every week. So come give it a shot. See if it works for you. See if Bear Bull Traders is a good fit. We perfectly understand that it's not a perfect fit for everybody. So give it a shot and see if you like it. If you are a fan of podcasts, search Talk with Traders on your favorite podcast platform, and you will find our Bear Bull Traders podcast coming out with new content all the time. Peter is doing those podcasts. Speaking of Peter, join him, Mike, and Brian, 3:30 to 4:15 p.m. Eastern. Closing bell Monday through Thursday. That's our simulcast to YouTube from the chat room. They'll do trade reviews, market analysis, swing trading, and earnings, because earnings season is coming up very, very quickly. Guys, I am so proud to know this guy and have become not only somebody that works with him, for him, but a friend of Andrew's. He has been accepted and has been placed on the Forbes Business Council. He's written his first article for Forbes. We know Andrew's story, so he kind of wrote about that, how life changes and everything else really changed for the better in his life. When people think they have a setback, they dig deep in themselves or something spiritual, whatever it may be, and actually end up in a better place. So check his Twitter feed out. It's at Bear Bull Traders, and he has a link. It's his pinned tweet. That's a link to his article he just wrote in Forbes. So when he shows up in the room, if you'd congratulate him as well, I guess he's here. So anyway, just super, super proud to call this guy a friend. I can't hear you, Carlos.
Oh, sorry about that. All right, guys. Thank you, Norm. Let's get into it. Let's look at this gappers list, what we have on our watch, and kind of fine tune it a bit here. Let's start over with WKHS. Right now, very active, guys. We have 545,000 shares traded at the moment. We do have some levels from yesterday, so we'll keep those on there. Let's see if they make sense or if we can remove some of those, and we'll get that updated. United is the airline I'm going to keep on deck today, guys. Looks pretty good. I'm not seeing any other ones besides Save and American Airlines. And if we look at American Airlines, it's starting to look better. I got to say, it's starting to look better now. When we saw it earlier, it wasn't doing all that much. Now you have a nice little drop here. You still got some good volume. So either one of these is good. I prefer United better. I think it moves slightly better than American Airlines. It's also a little bit of a higher price. So we'll do levels for both, and then you can decide on your own which one you prefer to keep. NKLA here, guys, getting a nice big pop, 13.2 right now, 1.1 million shares traded. Again, it is extended towards the downside. I had a three couple of days here where it's just been hammered pretty significant. We're going from opening at 65 down to 40. That's a big drop. We're also getting to an area where we're seeing some support here that we had before that might have been, again, this area prior resistance. So we'll see what happens there. NIO right now also very active. We'll keep that one. SQ, again, not as active in the pre-market, but the daily looks amazing. And Walmart, possible continuation. You know what? I think we could do levels for all of these. These all look great right now. So let's start with the levels. Here's WKHS. Right now, I'm going to remove some levels because, for example, you see this 1369. Well, now you have a newer level, most recent level sitting here, which is your low from yesterday. So now this level it's still important, but you want the most recent level, which is going to be this 14 now, right? So although you had it here at 1369, you could remove that now and keep this most recent data. Important things, guys, about levels, and we'll put a class together on levels. I got a lot of emails and requests that you guys want a class on just levels alone and what we do here, so we'll put something together for that. But you always want the most recent information, right? So right now the highs and lows are going to give you four very important levels of the last 2 trading days that you need on your charts. We have that here. So outside of this range, another level you can add would be the low of the pre-market, 1580, and then towards the bottom is going to be this one down here over at 1102, right? So pretty good levels. Towards the top, you do have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. If we do decide to go north here, again, doesn't look like at that at the moment, we do have a level here at 1971. So again, some fresh new levels on the WKHS. This stock has been amazing. It does move quite a bit, so be careful with the number of shares you take on this one, guys. Be mindful of your share size. Here is United Airlines. I do like this one personally for my watch list this morning. 31.36 low of the pre-market. We have lost this great area of support here. Look how many days have bounced off this previous day close, sitting at 32.55. Now we add another level here. 31.36 is the low of the pre-market. If we lose that, let's check our daily, see what's the next area where we can find some support. Seems to be right around here, 29.70. You have several days opening, closing, and bouncing off that 29.70 area. So that's a good area to get into a support. If we lose that, if we're going to be dropping today, right now the pre-market is looking very, very weak, guys. The next level will be 26.92. Again, I don't think we'll get there, but you can clearly see on the daily you have on this price target a lot of change in direction of support, resistance, so you want to have that on there. Towards the top is a lot of congestion already up here. Do not need to add any more. Previous day close, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days got you already covered there. So let's head over to American Airlines. If you prefer this one, you might need to watch both, or you can watch both. Whatever you want to do is fine here. 11.53 low of the pre-market. If we go back towards on the daily here, you have no recent drops here, so your next area of support, of possible support, can be 11.02, and then if we lose that, another great area here at 10.23. Look at 10.23. How many days are supporting that level, right? So the more a level is touched, as I mentioned before, the stronger that level is going to be, and you have a lot of support happening here. Every time we drop there, a couple of days where we did below, right, got some good momentum going, but for the most part, a lot of days bouncing off that 10.23, and when they got below it, you can see the resistance getting above that 10.23 as well. Similar to UAL, towards the top, guys, you're covered. Do not need to add anything more. NKLA, guys, getting a nice big pop this morning. Some good volume. 1.1 million shares traded right now. High of our pre-market sitting at 45.68 for the most part. Above that, you have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days right on here. So a lot of resistance towards the top there. Towards the bottom, I'm going to add my low of the pre-market at 42.69. And then you have the previous day close sitting right on here, which is an area of resistance and support. Again, not quite on it, but slightly below this area where you had a lot of resistance before you had this amazing breakout going there from 42, what is this, all the way up to 71. So again, just a beautiful pop. This one, guys, moves quite a bit. If you look at this candle here, we're looking at almost 50-cent moves on each of these candles. So be very careful with the number of shares. This thing can move quite a bit. Had a big red day yesterday. We're getting a good continuation towards the top side this morning today. NIO also very active. 13 million shares traded right now. Again, pre-market actions are very active. Has been pretty strong the last couple of days. No red days in sight since the last probably 7 trading days here, guys. So again, this thing keeps opening up and finding a way to end the day green, even with a lot of movement in the intraday. So we have our high of our pre-market at 14.34. Towards the bottom, where we have tons of levels here, highs and lows, previous day close from the last 2 trading days. This 11.08, don't need to have this one here anymore, because now you have your lows for the last 2 trading days are creating some good important levels there for you. So let's look at SQ. SQ's daily, guys, and we're sitting at all-time highs, so there's nothing above this 130. Just look at the run that SQ has had from March, April till now. I mean, this stock hit about $45, $40 here, and we're now sitting at 128. So pre-market is pretty light right now, but I do love what I'm seeing on the daily. If we zoom in a little bit more, you can see here we're just slamming ourselves against this area of resistance. The last couple of days, higher lows as we continue to just kind of push against up this 130. High of the pre-market right now, slightly below this 130 from yesterday, sitting at 129.35. You can mark down the low of the pre-market at 127, and then towards the bottom, you got your levels from the last 2 trading days and your previous day close taking care of you there. Here's Walmart. Again, Walmart doesn't trade all that well, but we have some news behind it today. So yesterday actually broke out. If you missed it this morning, by the way, we start the show at 8:30. You can see here, it just did nothing the entire day. News breaks out, them possibly competing with Amazon on some business there. And you can see the volume come in. Look at the amazing pop it had yesterday. So today could be a good continuation day today. We definitely are seeing some volume already. Walmart typically trades horrible when it doesn't get the volume, but with this type of catalyst, could be the difference maker. 129.28 is the high of the pre-market, and we do have up here another level at 130, a very clear level, clear nice rejection here at 131.89, and then for some previous levels we had 133.45 is already on there as well. So let's see how strong this news is going to be today. Are we going to get a continuation towards the top side on Walmart this morning? So guys, that is what we have. Let's take a look at what our moderators are watching today. Let's get their list out here. Let's see what we have, and we will start. All right, who's the first one up here? Just scrolling up. We will start with Peter. So Peter is watching Microsoft, SQ, AMD as his main list. His secondary list has Uber, Facebook, American Airlines, BA. Let's take a look at BA, because BA tends to trade very well when it's active. I do love the daily. The pre-market, not so much, but the daily is great though, guys. If we can lose this here, we've been stuck with this consolidation. That could be a beautiful drop there. So let's keep an eye on BA for scanners. NIO, NNVC as a low flow stock. We do have NNVC down here as well, guys. This is up 40%, 6.4 million shares traded this morning. So again, very, very active. Let's do some levels for this one, just in case you're watching it as well. We do have our high of our pre-market sitting at 1088. Towards the bottom, we do have 948, and then some other levels down here at 831. Your low of the pre-market is stuck between the highs and lows of the last two trading days. Again, so some pretty good levels here on this stock already. You can see look how we took these daily levels off the daily. And if you go into pre-market, you can see how the pre-market is reacting to this 831, 948, and obviously a 1084. So you can see how people are looking at these daily levels and taking trades off of that. You're seeing a lot of changing direction on the pre-market this morning. All right, let's look at Peter's also going to keep an eye on Levy just in case. LIVE. Here's Jared's list. He's watching Baba is at all-time high, so he'll be looking out for a breakout there. He's watching Walmart, WMT, and NKLA as well. So we'll see how those play out. John is watching Baba, Facebook, and he's also watching Nvidia on his list. Brian, his list is going to be United, INO, NIO, so he's watching both of those. VXRT and also AIHS, and I don't think we looked at that one. AIHS. Brian always has his last stock is always something we usually don't look at. It's out of left field. I don't know how he finds these stocks, but this one's looking really active, guys. 25,000 right now, 7.3 million shares traded. We definitely got to add this one on here. So this was very active. Definitely put it on deck, guys. Looking pretty good this morning. And Andrew's watching CCL, American Airlines. He's looking for daily support levels on those. INO, WKHS, NIO, NKLA, and also Baba. And then mind your size, guys, on NKLA. As I mentioned before, this stock is very, very wild. It moves very clean, but it's very wild. These moves are pretty big, so be careful with the number of shares that you take on that stock. And also when you take a stock like this one, also be mindful of slippage, right? So you could take a good number of shares, but if you have a slippage of, 20, 15 cents, which can happen if the move starts going wildly against your direction, be mindful of that as well. Be prepared and trade accordingly. All right, guys, that is what we have. Thank you so much for joining the pre-market show. We will see you guys tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time, or actually tonight. Tonight is a Wednesday, right? Lifetime webinar tonight at 8 p.m. with Peter. So check you guys there. Take care and trade safe.